Chapter 1. Mindset Surgery. Any rule not set in course by nature or your government can be bent or broken. Here's the life cycle of a typical human. Go to school, study hard, get a good job, and have a family. Continue working, save up for retirement, then wait until you die. There's really nothing wrong with this arrangement if it's something you enjoy, but a lot of people become disinterested a few years into their jobs. They just feel like the job is sucking away their lives. They rarely have time for friends, family, or any fun activities. They are stuck. Outside of science and law, all rules can be bent or broken, and it doesn't require being unethical. Tim Ferriss. Many people desire to break out of the 9-to-5 prison, but only a few succeed at it. And it all boils down to the fear of the unknown. Who would want to lose their job if there's no tangible hope of getting something better on the scales of time and freedom? The world will be a happier place if enough people find the courage to leave jobs they dislike and go on to do what their souls desire. If you truly desire the freedom to live the lifestyle you deserve, then Timothy Ferriss can show you how. The 4-Hour Workweek is a lifestyle design that millionaire entrepreneur and podcaster Timothy Ferriss created for his personal life and began teaching others once he successfully tested the effectiveness of his new approach to life. Countless people all over the world have achieved the lifestyle design of their choice simply by understanding and implementing the strategies in this summary. You're about to join that number. Chapter 2. You can move beyond your fears to create the lifestyle you want by setting goals and taking massive action toward achieving them. Timothy Ferriss once had a business that sucked his time away. It was rewarding financially, but he had to work 15 hours daily. That was a major challenge to him at the time because he wanted freedom. After brainstorming for some time, Ferriss realized taking a year's vacation in Europe would help cool his head. But, like the majority of us, the fear of losing his business kicked in. Because of that, he shoved away the idea of taking a year-long vacation. He continued wearing himself out on his business, even though he disliked it. But one day, the light bulb switched on. What would be the worst-case scenario should he take the vacation despite all odds? A lot of things may possibly go wrong. His business may crash. He may go broke in a strange country. Or even more sinister things could happen. Timothy Ferriss noted all those down. He then thought deeply about possible survival strategies. It dawned on him that he could actually make a living outside of his business. Things would definitely be rough at first, but he could take a menial job and cut down on luxuries such as eating out. Not so bad. So he took the trip. His vacation lasted 15 months, and surprisingly, his business thrived more in his absence. The moral of the story? Your fears aren't always as bad as they seem. As you truly want to live a rich lifestyle, you will have to master the art of overcoming your fears. Is the fear of the unknown limiting you from making a major change in your life and career? Do you really want to change? If yes, pick up a pen and paper. Write down all the possible worst-case scenarios, as well as the things you can do to overcome them. It also helps to focus on your plan for the future. This will lead you to find inspiration. Ferriss suggests that you set high, unrealistic expectations for the things you would like to be, do, and have between now and at least the next 6 months. After that, begin finding out ways you can bring those things to pass. Draft out a complete plan for manifesting your unrealistic expectations. There's no difference between a pessimist who says, "Oh, it's hopeless, so don't bother doing anything," and an optimist who says, "Don't bother doing anything, it's going to turn out fine anyway." Either way, nothing happens. Yvonne Chouinard, founder of Patagonia. Remember, your goals have to be unrealistic. Keeping them realistic is the fastest recipe for demotivation. While doing all things, beware of optimistic fears. The refusal to take action and change your situation in the hope that things will change by themselves over time. For instance, the fact that your job is just uninspiring and not a living hell can be a good excuse to not act, in the hopes that things will change in the near future. This is optimistic fear. What if nothing changes after a year or two? Chapter 3. Elimination is the key to productivity. Forget anything that has to do with time management. This is probably the worst productivity advice you're getting. But the idea of time management, doing more in less time, has kept many people busy without actually moving. Productivity is not always about being busy. To be productive, you have to be busy doing the exact thing you should be doing at the time. Don't get too lost in the idea of filling time with activity and not accomplishing the most important things at the end of the day. As a would-be new rich, NR, you should be more concerned with being effective than efficient. There's a world of difference between the two. Efficiency is being busy doing stuff that isn't necessarily contributing to your grand goal. But when you're effective, every task you complete is moving you toward your end goal. For example, you can be busy replying to emails for 3 hours when you could easily outsource that at a lower cost and focus on doing more important activities that will lead you to your end goal. Replying to your emails may be a part of your job description, but spending hours on that alone doesn't make you any more efficient. Wherever you are in your life, productivity is important if NR is the goal. There are 2 laws you can incorporate into your life to rapidly boost your personal and professional productivity: the 80-20 law and the Parkinson's law. Let's start with the first. The 80-20 law or principle states that about 20% of activities account for 80% of the results we get. To put it more practically, as an employee, roughly 20% of your time is responsible for 80% of your office work. No employee is really productive 8 hours every day. A good part of that 8 hours is used for relatively unimportant tasks. A task will swell in perceived importance and complexity in relation to the time allotted for its completion. Parkinson's law. Did you know? Distractions at work take up more time than you think. Try staying away from distractions and see how fast you can do your daily tasks. Chapter 4. Simple hacks for putting your work on autopilot. Outsourcing is the lifeblood of the new rich. Don't forget the goal is to be in charge of your life and have others working for you while you focus on the activities that matter most to you. And as we've reiterated countless times, anyone can do this. It doesn't matter if you're an entrepreneur, employee, or student. Every task must be both time-consuming and well-defined before it can be delegated. You have 2 options when outsourcing. You could choose to use either a local or remote virtual assistant, VA. Ferriss recommends using remote VAs from developing countries like India because the cost of service is less. And because of the time difference between both countries, you could be sleeping while your VA is working for you. So let's say you have a presentation to give the following morning. All you need to do is contact your VA early enough, get them clear instructions and a deadline you both can work with. Keep Parkinson's law in mind when doing this. If things go well, you will wake up to your presentation waiting in your email. How awesome is that? To avoid any disappointments, it's good you don't hire a new or sole VA. Working with a VA organization with a good reputation will save you all the stress of finding a great VA. The 2 most common VA organizations providing remote services are Your Man in India, YMII, and Brickwork, based in India. Chapter 5. Now it's time to set your income on autopilot. This is the part you've been waiting for. The secret of all NRs is building a business around something they love and keep it simple and automated so they can enjoy doing other things. The goal is not business, but fun. The easiest way to get into business and make tons of money is to find a product you can sell to a particular target market. And you don't want to spend too much time researching a product or its market, so just find a niche you already know well. Look at your past or current experiences and try to locate a problem your product can solve. When Ferriss created Brain Quicken, his target market was students and athletes. It was easy to create something they will love because he was a student and athlete too. Now, don't let the word create scare you. That word has been largely overrated by the media, but as you will see soon enough, it's not hard to create products people will love. And just in case the idea of product creation doesn't at all fascinate you, there are 2 other awesome ways to get a product for your target market. But before going into those 2 other ways, let's hammer on product creation. After picking a target market and determining what problem they have, the next step is to think of a product you can create to meet this need. If what you have in mind is a hard product, you can leverage private labeling. Simply contact experts in the field to manufacture the product in a way that will suit your target market, then stamp your unique label on it. Another option is to create information products. The other 2 ways of getting a product are reselling and licensing. To resell a product is simple. In fact, it's the easiest way to get a product. Just that the profit margin won't always be great, as there are usually many other people reselling the same product, and probably at lower prices. But reselling is a good place to start. If it interests you, there is only one vital step to take. Contact the manufacturer, negotiate the wholesale price, and you're in business. Reselling is similar to licensing in a way, but licensing requires more effort and is more profitable. Licensing is all about granting others the right to produce hundreds of products with a brand's name and image in exchange for a percentage of the sales. Many top brands use licensing in one way or another. A good example is Red Bull. That energy drink came from a tonic in Thailand. So, how can you take advantage of licensing? There are two possible ways: become the inventor or the licensee. Most NRs are the latter. They obtain licensing deals from inventors and use that to easily push their products to their target market. Decide on any of the approaches that suit you, but don't fall into the naive trap of setting low prices. Your product shouldn't cost less than $50, and ideally no more than $200. A good price saves you the stress of dealing with low-end customers who will always give you a headache. If you're sure your product is worth it, don't be afraid to set high prices. Chapter 6. You can quit your job and live the new rich lifestyle. If you followed all the steps above, particularly if you've started outsourcing and the side business you created with your spare time is beginning to roll in consistent cash, you're near the point where quitting your job is feasible. But first, you will want to negotiate remote working conditions so you can test your lifestyle of freedom while still having money from your job. You will need the remote work, especially if your business is yet to comfortably cater to your financial needs. Earlier, we discussed how being super productive will make it easier to negotiate remote work. But you need something more than productivity. You need a strategy, because it's not always a walk in the park to talk management into allowing you to work from anywhere in the world. What your company's management needs to see is how your working from home will contribute more to the organization than working from the office, and your strategy has to show them that. Consider Sherwood's experience with his boss. Because of his plan to negotiate remote work, Sherwood started putting in the effort to increase his productivity, and consequently, his value to the company. Additionally, he ensured the company invested in him so that it would be hard for them to let him go. Next, he called in sick for 2 days. Sherwood used these days to do his office work remotely. He made sure he performed more than he usually did at the office. He resumed after 2 days and was ready to negotiate remote work. When you're effective in the workplace, you stand a good chance of negotiating better work conditions. He started with asking for 2 remote work days, Monday and Tuesday. He used that approach because it's much easier for his boss to accept 2 days of remote work than all 5 days at once. The result? Sherwood did his best to impress his boss, then leveraged his super performance to negotiate 4 days remote work, and then complete remote work, the entire 5 days a week. He is now only required to show up at the organization during crucial meetings. You can apply his strategy too. The most important things are your ability to show a high degree of competence and reliability. Conclusion. You no longer have to sacrifice your life on a job or business, forgetting that work is simply a means to living and not the goal itself. All the strategies outlined in this summary are targeted at one thing: helping you work to live, not just work for work's sake. Begin your journey into the world of possibilities and adventures by deciding you deserve a better life, a life of wealth and freedom. Then, begin eliminating all the clutter that will stop you from joining the new rich NR League. After that, automate your work and income by outsourcing excess work that can't be eliminated and starting a profitable side business. Depending on your unique situation and person preferences, it may take some time to achieve the 4-hour workweek balance. However, if you start taking baby steps now and get serious at it, you'll speed up your progress. Work is meant to be enjoyed. Don't wait until you've achieved your financial goal and ideal work-life balance before you enjoy work and celebrate milestones. Contrary to mainstream belief, achieving your goals is not what will bring you happiness. Learning to enjoy the process is what will fill you with happiness and motivation. So start now, own your journey, celebrate your progress. Try this. Decide on the 20% office tasks that make for 80% of the results you produce as an employee or business owner. Outsource the minor tasks that don't count much. Then focus your energy on the top 20%.